Hari Om. We shall chant from verse number 18. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Cheva Shvapake Cha Pandhita Samadarshinaha Ihaiva Tairjita Sargaha Yesham Samye Sthitam Manaha Nirdosham Hi Samam Brahma Tasmad Brahmani Te Sthitaha Na Prahrishhet Priyam Prapya Nodvijet Prapya Cha Priyam Sthira Buddhira Sammudhaha Brahmavid Brahmani Sthitaha Bahyasparsheshva Saktatma Vindatyatmani Yat Sukham Sabrahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukhamakshayam Ashnute Yehi Sansparshaja Bhogaha Dukkhayonaya evate Adyantavantak Kaunteya Nateshu Ramate Buddhaha Shaknoti Heva Yasodhum Praksharira Vimokshanat Kama Krodhodbhavam Vegam Sayuktasya Sukhi Naraha. So Bhagavan explained in detail the path of Karma Yoga in the 3rd chapter, and also he spoke about the importance of knowledge in the 4th chapter. In this 5th chapter, he spoke about Karma Sannyas. So Karma Yoga followed by knowledge, then Karma Sannyas, then Dhyana, which leads to enlightenment. So enlightened person is, his characteristic is indicated, who sees the same Brahma in all. One who recognizes that Brahma comes to know that the same Brahma is present in all. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Cheva Shvapake Cha Pandhita Samadarshinaha. He has got that vision. By knowing that Brahma, he could recognize the presence of Brahma in all. And there is no defect in such perception, because he is established in that Brahma itself, which is Saman, same and free from all defects. Nirdosham Hi Samam Brahma. Such enlightened person doesn't get excited by the obtaining some objects which are dear to him, or doesn't get excited or agitated by not obtaining or obtaining that which is not dear. His buddhi remains firmly in that Brahma. Brahmavid Brahmani Sthitaha. all his joy he gains in the self alone. There is no attachment to any objects of this world. So they no longer give him a pleasure or a pain. He gains all happiness in the self alone. Therefore, even for seekers who want to experience this Brahma, should get detached from the sense objects and withdraw the attention towards the self. The more we become free of our attachment to the world of objects, the more one can come closer to our own self. So all the sense pleasures, they have a beginning, they have an end, and in between little pleasure, which is also anitya. So na teshu ramate buddha, the wise person doesn't revel in them. So while alive itself, before we die, we should be able to conquer this kama and krodha. So kama krodhodbhavam vegam, the agitation or the force which is created by kama and krodha, if we are able to overcome them, then our journey within becomes very easy. Because what pulls us out is kama and krodha. Kama and krodha pulls us out. Even we have stories in Ramayana when Lord Shiva was sitting in meditation, all the devatas became agitated. Devatas felt that if he is in meditation, then how will he marry Parvati? And if he doesn't marry Parvati ji, then how Shadanan will be born? And if Shadanan is not born, then how the Rakshasa will be killed? So they had their own worries. So they wanted to bring Shivji out of that meditation. So what did they do? They sent Kamadev. So Kamadev came there to create disturbance in his samadhi. So Bhagavan experienced that and he opened his eyes and he burned that Kamadev. So these are through stories, it is indicated that even if a person is in samadhi or trying to be in samadhi, that kama can bring that person out of that samadhi. So kama is opposed to Rama. Kama and krodha are both like twins. So when kama is obstructed, it gets converted into krodha. So if a person is able to conquer kama and krodha, then it will be easy for that person to enter the state and realize the self. So the very essence of chitta shuddhi is in conquering the vega, the pressure of kama and krodha. See, as long as our prarabdha is there, some kama and krodha will always be there. Because we are born with our prarabdha has given rise to this body, and prarabdha karma has got a mixture of both good as well as bad. Kama, krodha, all will be there. So during our lifetime, all of them will keep coming and disturbing. But one who conquers them, one who doesn't come under their sway, will be able to dive within and realize the self. So Bhagavan says, before one dies, one should be able to conquer this force of kama and krodha. Such a person is called yuktaha, a yogi, and sa sukhi naraha. And that person alone is sukhi. Others are all dukhi. That person alone is sukhi. So this Bhagavan is describing that realized person, the enlightened person. More about that enlightened person, Bhagavan says in the next verse, 24 number. Yontas sukhontara ramaha tathantar jyotireva yaha sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto dhigacchati योऽन्तः सुखोऽन्तरारामः तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी यो antah sukha, he who is happy within, antah sukha. One whose happiness doesn't depend on the world of objects. One whose happiness doesn't depend on the outer conditions. One who is happy within. Within means one who is well established in that self and experiences the joy, the peace of the self alone. So, antah sukha, not bahi sukha. So, yo antah sukha. Antah ramah, one who is reveling in the self alone. Doesn't revel in any other objects, person or place, but constantly revel in the self alone. And antarjyotihi evach yaha, and one who has got this light within only. Jyotihi, light or prakasha, exists within. Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhutodi Gacchati. He is called a yogi who attains that Brahma Nirvana moksha by becoming Brahma here itself. Means he attains that Brahma or get established in that Brahma, gain that moksha here and now. So antah sukha, one who is reveling. In the second chapter also Bhagavan talked about Sthita Prajna, and he mentioned similar thing कि प्रजहाति यदा कामान सर्वान पार्थ मनोगतान आत्मनि एव आत्मना तुष्टः. One who is reveling or one who is satisfied in the self by the self alone. There is no need for any other. Just like our sleep, but we are not aware of it, we are not conscious of it. But there is no need for anything else that time. We might be in the greatest of difficult place, in prison, in some marketplace, or in some other, in sick. One may be sick. But when we are in deep sleep, we are in antah sukha. कुछ नहीं, की फर्क पैंदा, फर्स्ट क्लास अपने अंदर. That same sukha, this Atmajnani attains even while awake. The body, the mind doesn't disturb this sukha. It doesn't disturb because there is no more attachment, there is no more identification with the body, the mind, the senses. So antah sukha, antararamaha, and constantly reveling in that self alone. It is the most attractive, the most fascinating. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a very beautiful dialogue between Yajnavalkya and his wife, Maitreyi. So, Yajnavalkya tells his wife that now I want to just give up everything and take sannyas, formal sannyas. He takes their permission, 2 wives he had. So he said, I will just give the property and all to y'all, and I am going. So Maitreyi asked him that all this wealth and property, will it give me moksha? Will it give me that amrutatvam? He says, no, don't have any hope of that. Don't keep any high hope of getting amrutatvam by wealth. But you can live in this world as a rich person, having all the comfort and joy, and you can do a lot of donation also. And people will appreciate and you can be a nice one. But amrutatvam, forget about it. She says, I don't want, then what is the use of this wealth if I don't get that amrutatvam? How can I get it? What is it? Where is it? He says it is our own that self which we have to know. And how to know? By shrotavyam, mantavyam and nididhyasitavyam. By listening to it, by contemplating it and by meditating on it. And he gave one very beautiful lakshana, that all the joys and all those people whom we think are dear to us, they are all dear to us because of this self only. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Some people say, oh, my husband is very dear to me, my wife is very dear to me, my house is very dear to me. He says all this is dear to you because of the self only. Either you see yourself in them or you get joy from them, therefore they are dear. The moment we stop getting joy, even the most dearest person, you will take them to court. अरे क्या हो गया? She was very dear to me. अभी हम fight चल रही है. Or dear goes away, dear runs away. So why the self is dearest to us? Because the self is the very embodiment of all joy. So that which gives us joy is dear, and that which gives us infinite joy is infinitely dear to us. So antaha sukhaha, antaha aramaha, they revel in their own self. Tatha antaha jyotihi, this Atma is of the nature of jyoti, light. Light means not this light. See, what is the meaning of light? A light is that in which things are revealed. For example, I see this object here because of this light. During the daytime we have the light from the sun. So when that light is there, the eyes also can see. Things are revealed. At night we have the light from the moon. But what about the thoughts? The thoughts are also revealed. Therefore there must be some light within which reveals our thoughts. When you go to sleep and when you dream, sometimes you dream quite a daytime dream. The sun is shining bright in your dream, but in your room it is total dark. So from where that light is coming? From within, which makes you see the dream. But there is a point when even dreams are not there. But still I know I was there in deep sleep state. When I wake up, I say I was there. So how did you know? Because your mind was not there, your intellect was not there, your senses were not functioning. How do you know you were there? By the light of my own self. I know that I existed there. So that self is of the nature of light only. So one who is established in that light, antaha jyotihi eva, not in the light of this other shloka we chant mantra, ki na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyato bhanti kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. Ki that light, that Atma is such that the sun cannot illuminate, the moon cannot illuminate, the electricity cannot illuminate, the fire cannot illuminate. It is of the nature of light. By its illumination only everything gets light. Everything gets lighted. So antajyotihi yaha. So he who is established in that Atma, sa yogi brahma nirvanam. That yogi attains brahma nirvan. He becomes one with Brahma. We are one with Brahma only, but we don't know now. So when we reach this state, there is no ignorance, there is no confusion which creates any difference in us. We know that I am that Brahma. So yogi Brahma nirvanam means moksha, attains moksha. How? By becoming that Brahma. Brahma itself is of the nature of moksha. There is nothing which can limit that Brahma. So Brahma bhutaha adhigacchati, Brahma nirvanam adhigacchati. Becoming that Brahma, he attains moksha, becomes free. Sadhyo muktihi it is called. While living in this world itself, he is free. See, as far as that other ignorant person is concerned, he might see that realized person and might feel that he is bound. Because we identify with our own body, so we identify a realized person also with his body. We identify with his body. Just like by mistake, if I consider the space as the pot, then I will say, oh, the pot is cracked. I say, oh, space is cracked. But the space is untouched by that pot. It doesn't matter whether the pot is big, small, or spoilt or defective. It doesn't create any disturbance or any effect on space. Similarly, as far as that enlightened person is concerned, the body and the change in body and the prarabdha of the body makes no difference for that person. He is free here and now. So, sa yogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutaha adhigacchati, attains that nirvana, attains that moksha by becoming that Brahma. These are all inspiring for us because the ultimate state of enlightenment and an enlightened person is described, as I said, in all the chapters, so that it inspires the spiritual seekers. See, in the world also, those who get attracted towards some, let us say, a great business person is there, who has earned a lot of money and all. So others who are in that field, they get inspired. They will put his photograph in their room. They will have their thing on their mobile also. Wallpaper. Those who are inspired by a politician, they will have that. Those who are inspired by all these film stars, they will have the wallpaper. Facebook profile. अरे काफी हीरो जैसे लगता है. हीरो ही है. That fellow doesn't put his own photograph. Similarly, those who are inspired by spirituality, or those who are not inspired also, when we read about such person, we will feel inspired. We should read about them. We should contemplate upon them. It is said that when we contemplate on the mind, on the state of a realized person, our mind will start becoming pure. When we identify with them, even through our imagination, our mind will start becoming more and more pure. That also is a sadhana. To meditate on a realized, enlightened person is a sadhana. So Bhagavan describes such enlightened person. Further, he says, Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayakshena Kalmashaha Chinnadvaidhayatatmanaha Sarvabhutahite rataha Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayakshena Kalmashaha. He says, those Rishayaha, the Sannyasinaha, those who have renounced the sense of doership, therefore all their actions are renounced only. Those who have renounced the sense of doership. Sometimes we work in some company and all, and whatever the company does, we identify with that. For example, if you are working in, let us say, that ISRO, space agency, So those people, they work hard and send one satellite and all, and even if I am working some clerk or somewhere here and there, I will say हमने भेज दिया ऊपर. आपने क्या किया ना, मैंने जो है वो फाइल किया, टाइपिंग किया, लेटर. But we identify with it. But if we give up that company, then there is no identification. Then not that the satellite doesn't go up, it goes up, but I don't have any sense of, I don't claim anything. Similarly, when we drop the sense of doership, we don't claim the action which are happening in the body, in the mind. We don't say मैंने किया है. पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वशन् नैव किंचित करोमीति. I don't do anything. Like that one will have the experience. So Rishayaha is that sannyasi who has renounced everything after knowing the nature of the self. Kshina kalmashaha, who is free from all kalmash, all vasanas, all negative impressions also get dropped because they are based on our avidya. Avidya creates all sorts of confusion and chaos in our antakarana. So all this confusion, chaos created by avidya suddenly disappear from that person's heart. Prarabdha karma continue to be there, but all confusion suddenly drops. So the mind becomes extremely calm and peaceful. So kshina kalmashaha, chinnadvaidha. Chinnadvaidha means one who has become free from all samshaya, all doubts, all questions. See, as we follow this path, lot of questions get answered, but lot of questions are also there. The first day itself when we come to a satsang and all, most probably on that day itself, the teacher tells us that you are Brahma. Then that person start coming regularly because first time somebody said you are Brahma. नहीं तो रोज मेरे को बुद्धू ही बोलते हैं घर में. So you feel very inspired and you start coming. For years together you come and every day the teacher tells you are Brahma. कभी कभी घर वाले परेशान हो जाते हैं. Every day why you have to go and listen to the same Swami again and again? He told you ना you are Brahma. अभी चुपचाप बैठो घर पे. But no. Why? Actually it's true. We need not listen to it again. But why we are listening? Because we have doubts. As we listen, the doubts gets more and more clear, and finally we understand what? That I am Brahman, which was being told right from the beginning. So these doubts we have, lots of doubts. And these doubts are there in our buddhi, and therefore the buddhi doesn't accept that you are Brahma. That is not accepted by the buddhi. The mind may accept out of faith. The mind is more emotional. Teacher ने कहा मैं ब्रह्म तो हो सकता हूँ. Teacher is so nice, so he will not lie. So the mind might accept, but the buddhi will not accept. The buddhi will keep on asking question. How is this? How can you be Brahma? You are so tiny little fellow, and Brahma is all pervading. How can you be Brahma? Brahma is free from all changes. Brahma is birthless, deathless. How can you be Brahma? So the buddhi doesn't accept. So lots of questions are there. So as we study Vedanta, as we contemplate on it, these questions start getting eliminated. And finally, when we gain the experience, direct realization, it's called aparoksha anubhuti, then all the doubts get dispelled. There is no doubt. Vidyate hridaya grantihi chindyanti sarva samshayaha kriyanti cha yasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. When we directly realize the truth, all doubts get dispelled. There is no confusion, there is no question in the realized person's heart, mind. You cannot confuse that person. You cannot say, नहीं नहीं अभी latest discovery है कि you are not Brahman. He said, keep it to yourself. Very good. Continue. So Chinnadvaidha, all the samshayas are dropped, are not there, they go away. Yatatmanaha, one who has all his faculties under his control. The antakarana, the mind, the indriyas are well under control. They go run wild when our desires run wild. Desires run wild when we have this avidya. Then the desires come and we cannot control them. Because desires, they keep on telling me that you fulfill this and you will be happy. And I believe them, I fulfill. Then again another desire comes, then another comes, and इसके पीछे ही लगे रहते हैं. But when a person has gained that knowledge, the avidya has gone, the desires are no more there to disturb the mind, so the mind, the senses are totally under control. They don't run wild. So yatatmanaha sarvabhuta hiterataha. This realized enlightened person also continue to work in this world. But what is the motivation for that work? Lokahita. Sarva loka hiterataha. Sarvabhuta hiterataha. He revels in the welfare of all beings. See, so many jivas, as I said, infinite jivas are there. And all of them are not human. So after a lot of going through many life forms, we get a human birth. All humans are also not same. Many people are interested in so many other things. There are few who are interested in moksha. But others are involved in this samsara in various ways. So this realized person, he thinks about the welfare of all beings and does something for their welfare. See, the ultimate welfare of all lies in moksha only. But that is not appreciated by all, so everyone is looking for an immediate solution. So that is being given and that is granted by the scriptures also when we do something, and these realized masters also, they also bless. It is said, bhukti mukti pradata cha. When we go to an enlightened person, he can give us mukti also by his blessing. But we don't want mukti, we want bhukti. Bhukti means bhog. Maharaj, we do namaskar and ask for something worldly thing. कि इधर नौकरी मिल जाए, इसकी शादी हो जाए, उधर मेरे को ये चाहिए, ये परेशानी है, बीपी बढ़ गया है, आशीर्वाद दे दीजिए. आपको ब्रह्म के बारे नहीं, ब्रह्म के बारे में मत बताओ. कुछ दवाई, कुछ मंत्र कुछ कृपा विरपा. So people are interested in that, and the realized master blesses everyone. So sarva bhuta hiterataha. So those who have this, all these qualities, he says, Bhagavan says, Brahma Nirvanam. He attains that Brahma Nirvana. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam. They attain moksha here and now. They are free. They are free. As long as the prarabdha of the body is there, you can as though communicate with them. So this is the greatest blessing. A realized person, enlightened person is the greatest blessing for the world. Because you can directly talk to Brahma as though. You can talk to Ishvara. Otherwise it's all in the scriptures. But an enlightened person, you can directly speak to Ishvara. You can touch Ishvara. You can present your case to Ishvara. उनके लिए कोई कामना नहीं होती है. So when we express our desire, it gets fulfilled also by their blessings. So, Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha, such are the great enlightened masters, and we are lucky to be born here in India. In India, we had in our past history also many, and in recent time also many great masters have come into this world on our land. Bhagavan continues describing these enlightened beings. He says, Kama Krodha Viyuktanam Yatinam Yata Chetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam, those who are free from Kama and Krodha. Yatinam, these sannyasis, those who have renounced the sense of doership. Yata Chetasam, whose antakarana is under their control. Abhitaha Brahma Nirvanam. Abhitaha means not only while they are alive in this body, but even when the body is dropped, they are in the state of moksha only. They are free. They are mukta. So abhitaha Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam, those who have gained the knowledge of the self. For them, there is moksha, Brahma Nirvana, moksha, while they are alive in this body and even when the body is dropped. So, Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. So, each and every this characteristic is very interesting, and what is natural for a realized master is sadhana for other seekers. It is natural for them. So what is natural for them becomes the sadhana for others. Sadhana means with effort we can pursue that. So he says that an enlightened person is free from kama and krodha. So seekers should also try to become free of kama and krodha. So kama krodha viyuktanam. Though one can, through effort, through vivek, we can gain vairagya. But total freedom from kama and krodha will happen in the state of enlightenment only. So kama krodha viyuktanam. For an enlightened person there is no kama, no craving for anything. Because all we had seen that kama means whatever we had experienced in the past, which gave us joy, when we think about those objects, when we'll see those objects, or when we hear about them, that again that desire arises, craving arises to enjoy them again. But for an enlightened person, all the experience of the past, they might have the memory, but all the joys and all the experience of the past doesn't add up to the joy which they are experiencing now. It is like one who has got the joy which is as vast as the ocean will not remember the drop of joy in the past. Past में एक drop मेरे को मिला था joy का. But now I am drowning in ocean of joy. So they will not be attracted by that, not be fascinated by that. But others, we are fascinated by the joys of the past. Oh, if only I can get it again. Therefore, whenever we go for a party or someone's house, that if we like something, immediately we take down the recipe. ये कैसे बनाया आपने अच्छा, बाद में क्या किया अच्छा. But the main thing she will not tell you. And you should not tell the secret of your recipe. Let them come and have it again. So you try it at home and it doesn't work like that. वहाँ तो बहुत बढ़िया लगा था, अभी पता नहीं. Anyway, so we want to repeat our experiences, and as I said, you cannot repeat any experience. It can be similar, but it cannot be same. So always we are in an imaginary world. Past some experiences, we want to create the similar thing. Half the mind is in the past, half in the present. So in the imaginary world only we move, like a crazy person. But for an enlightened person, this karma doesn't have any attraction. It doesn't move him. It doesn't disturb at all. Kama, krodha also, because kama and krodha go together. If one has overcome kama, that person will not have krodha. Krodha is there only for those who have a lot of kamna. The more kamna we have, the more krodha we have. The intensity of our kamna will give rise to the intensity of krodha. Gussa ekdam aise, by intensity of. And that we see in the people around or in our own family members, even little children. If they are intensely interested to have some toy or something, and if you say no, itna gussa aa jata hai, they throw tantrum and they throw all those Chinese ware or whatever things are there at home, they might throw it. Gussa aa jata hai. So kama and krodha, they go together. If there is no kama, there is no krodha. Gussa hi nahi aata hai. They have to purposely create that gussa in the heart. When Ramchandra ji had gone there near the ocean, he sat there, to do tapas, so that the ocean can give them way. So Lakshmana said, why don't you get angry with that ocean? He said, wait. So he showed anger later on. But there is no anger. Because anger is there only if there is kamna. Just like actors and all, they show anger, but that doesn't mean they are really angry. They are quite good friends also. But in the drama, they have to show anger and all. And the more anger they show, the more people clap and say, kya acting kiya aapne. Your anger was really perfect. Though sometimes really they get angry. Anyway, so kama krodha viyuktanam, those who are free from kama krodha, yatinam, sannyasinam, yati or sannyasi. Sannyasi, as I said, is not in just wearing these clothes, but dropping the sense of doership is sannyas. It is very, very important. Without that sannyas, one cannot enter one cannot meditate. Many people want to meditate, but sense of doership, if one drops, then only meditation begins. Because I cannot, the Atma is not a doer. Therefore, meditation is not doing something. Many people ask, how to meditate? कैसे बैठना है? क्या करना है? क्या करना है? They think it is some sort of activity. It is actually not an activity. It is not a state also. It is another name of the self only. So one has to drop the sense of doership to realize that self. So yatinam means sannyasinam. Yata chetasam, one who has total control over their antakarana. As I said, no desires. So antakarana is under their control. Antakarana actually works to fulfill our desire. They are busy. Our mind, our intellect, our chitta memory, our ego, our senses, they are constantly busy. For what? To fulfill our desires. 24 घंटे उनको काम होता है. Only when you are asleep, थोड़ा सा rest. The mind feels little satisfied. Chalo, so gaya hai, let me also relax. But otherwise, constant work, desire comes, then immediately the intellect start thinking how to fulfill it. It refers to the memory, all the past memory is brought. Ahankar is also there, the sense of doership and all. Indriyas are propelled into action. Lot of mehnat. Then we get little result. Then again we work, again we work. So the antakarana is constantly busy satisfying our desires. But when a person is not having any desires, the antakarana remains, is there, it doesn't die, doesn't disappear, but there is no work, so it is quiet. It's like our mobile. Some people, their mobile is so active, busy, constantly. 24 घंटे वहाँ पर लगे रहते हैं. And now it has become like a disease only, modern disease. People, they don't talk to each other, they are all constantly. Even in emergency situation, they are in the mobile. Operation हो रहा है, डॉक्टर एक हाथ में मोबाइल, कहीं किडनी, हाँ ठीक है. Constantly in that. While driving, while in a marriage also, वहाँ पर एक दूसरे माला डाल रही, उतने में फोन आ जाता है, शादी हो गई क्या? So your text message, नहीं अभी हो रही. सेल्फी भेज दो, हाँ भेज रहा हूँ. So the mobile is constantly busy. Why? Because you are interacting with the world. There is outgoing and incoming. But suppose you delete that number, there is no outgoing, there is no incoming. शांति एकदम, कुछ बजेगा नहीं कुछ. Only if you put it on alarm. Otherwise शांति से बैठा रहता है. वैसे ही when ego is dissolved, there is no interaction, there is no nothing. Antakarana is absolutely at peace. And in that peace, in that quietude, one experiences the complete infinite joy of the self. Just like when the lake is absolutely clean and still, the waters, you can even see the depth, you can see the floor of that lake. Like that, completely at peace. So you will see even in the outer body, in the eyes of a realized master, you can see the peace. You can experience, though we are full of agitation, but in the presence of an enlightened person, even an agitated person feels that great peace and joy. Like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi sitting there, totally quiet and peaceful. He is awake, he is alert, but there is no, not that he is moodha, but there is, whenever required, the mind functions. Somebody asks some question, the mind will function and give the reply. Then again it will remain. There is no unnecessary chattering of the mind. So it is a most fascinating state. So yata chetasam abhitaha brahma nirvanam. Abhitaha means while alive, jivatam mrutanancha ubhayataha. Even while alive is free. The body is there, the mind is there, everything is there, but that enlightened person is free even while living. And once the body gets dropped, there is no more birth. There is no more birth for that person. Vartate viditatmanam, because he is the one who has realized his own self. So once that self is realized, the sukshma sharir, the stula sharir get dissolved. Avidya, which is called the karan sharir, is avidya, that also gets negated through vidya. So there is no more taking birth again. That Brahmavit, Brahmaeva bhavati, he is Brahma. So if we want to contact an enlightened person, you can touch anything in this world, you are touching that enlightened person only. You don't have to go to ऋषिकेश, हरिद्वार, this, that and all. जहाँ पर आप हो वहीं पर वो व्यक्ति है. An enlightened person is Brahma, and where is Brahma? Everywhere. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana, everywhere is there. So Vartate Viditatmanam. Therefore, one has to follow this path, Karma Yoga, knowledge, Karma Sannyas, Dhyan. In the next chapter, Bhagavan will elaborately discuss this dhyana, meditation. Most fascinating and popular subject. People love meditation like anything. बाकी कुछ नहीं हो, स्वामी जी मेडिटेशन करना है, आप बताइए कैसे करें, कौन सी सीढ़ी अच्छी होती है मेडिटेशन के लिए, कैसे बैठना है, कौन सा आसन अच्छा है, क्या पहनना चाहिए, ये ठीक है कपड़ा, बरमुदा मैंने पहन लिया है, ठीक है. So people are fascinated by that, and therefore in the market also you will find lot of gurus, so-called, who teaches different types of meditation. We give different names actually to those meditation then, and then the more esoteric name, the more interesting people feel. Right? Walking meditation, talking meditation, sleeping meditation, coffee meditation. It's very nice. If we advertise it, it will be very good actually. Coffee meditation. हाथ में कॉफी लेके मेरा तस्वीर, anyway. Should not get distracted by all this. So meditation is the final step. Nididhyasan it is called, dhyana. Dhyana, nididhyasan. It is actually after gaining the theory, after knowing theoretically what is the self, we have to realize that self, experience that self. Drop all this attachment to the senses, the mind, the intellect, and be with that self. So what exactly is that meditation detail? Bhagavan will talk in the next chapter. But the beauty of Bhagavan is that what he will say elaborately, he tells briefly first. So in the following 3 verses, he gives the essence of meditation. So he gives the essence of all the following chapters which will come. Not only 6 chapters, but he also gives the essence of other chapters which will come. We will see how it is. So he talks about that meditation in sutra form, briefly like an aphorism. So he says, Sparshan kritva bahir bahyan Chakshushchaivantare bhruvoho Pranapano samau kritva Nasabhyantaracharino Sparshan kritva bahir bahyan Chakshushchaivantare bhruvoho Pranapano samo kritva Nasabhyantaracharino. Here in this verse, Bhagavan gives some outer preparation for that meditation. In the next verse, he will go a little deeper. So he says that when we sit for meditation, all the other details like how to sit and all those things will come later on, the next chapter, which is the external condition, preparation to help us. Sitting itself is not called meditation, but it helps. There should be minimum disturbance from the world outside, because this is the journey which we are taking within. And just like we have this vast world outside, the world within also is very vast. And one can get lost also in that world. Just like we can get lost in this outer world, one can get lost in the world within also. So one should first have the proper map with us. The entire map should be clear to us. Kahan jana hai. Otherwise we'll get lost. And inside once we go, we can't ask for direction also. Bhai sahab, wo Brahma kahan hai? You can't ask. You will get lost. Outside at least we can ask. Even when the board is there, people ask, "Ye kahan hai?" In India especially, we like to ask. Unless we ask, we are not satisfied. So, once we have understood the nature of that Atma, theory has become absolutely clear, then we have to, first step, drop the sense of doership. Dropping that sense of doership, we have to identify with that self. So, there are certain steps in the beginning which helps us to take this inner journey. So Bhagavan says, कि first is sparshan kritva bahir bahyan. Sparsha, we have seen before also, sparsha means the sense objects. They are called sparsha because we can touch them through our senses. See, bahihi, they are bahihi outside with respect to this body. The body is also made up of these 5 objects. And with respect to body, the world which is there outside is made up of these 5. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, the Pancha Mahabhut. They can be seen through our senses. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. The senses are within. So organs of perception, organs of action, with respect to the body, they are within, closer to the self as though. Then closer to that is the antakarana, the mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. So Bhagavan says the first step while taking the journey within is to keep the outside world outside. Very interesting, very beautiful this term, sparshan kritva bahir bahyan. बाहर के स्पर्शों को बाहर ही रहने दो. जैसे we remove our shoes and walk inside the temple, similarly we should keep this. That is also very symbolic. With those shoes we walk all over the world, we interact with the world, we walk into the world. So that shoes which you use to walk into the world, keep them outside. नहीं मैं थैली में अंदर डाल के ले जाऊंगा. थैली में भी नहीं, बाहर रख दो. मंदिर में जो है, डोंट ब्रिंग योर शूज, कीप देम आउटसाइड. नहीं, शूज आर वेरी क्लीन, अभी खरीद लिया है, स्टिल यू कैन कीप देम आउटसाइड. सिमिलरली दिस सेंसेस आर लाइक शूज ओनली. वेयरिंग दो सेंसेस वी रोम ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. 5 shoes we have, we roam all over the world. So Bhagavan says keep them outside. Keep them outside means what? How can we keep them? They are already outside. No, they are outside, no doubt, but you bring them within. For example, this flower is outside. This napkin is outside. So I see them outside, but when I think about them, then those objects come within. As long as I see them, they remain outside. But as soon as I bring them in my mind, by continuously thinking about them, feeling them, comparing them, they come within. Antakaran में आ जाते हैं. So don't bring them into your antakarana. The outer objects, if I pursue them, it is not a problem, but that perception also comes in the antakarana, but if you don't dwell upon them, they don't leave much impression. Just like when we are traveling by train and we are looking out of the window, we see a lot of sceneries outside. कोई दिखाई देता है in front of us, our eyes, then immediately it goes, some other scene comes. So they just come and go. But certain things catch your attention and you look more closely. And then you keep on thinking about it. That goes inside. We meet many people when we go to a party or some wedding or something. We meet people, lot of people, but some people you internalize them. They say something and you contemplate on them. When you listen to pravachan, you might not contemplate so deeply as sometimes some person says. Either they praise you or criticize you. Both in praise and criticism, ego is touched. इसलिए it is said for a महात्मा मानापमानयोस तुल्य, उनको मान और अपमान दोनों तुल्य, उनका ego touch नहीं होता, ego ही नहीं है. But for others, if you praise, very nice, your coat, your sari, very beautiful. So then we remember that all the time. Or we do some singing, dancing. बहुत बढ़िया आपने गाया, क्या आवाज़ है. लेकिन आप तो हॉल में नहीं, बाहर बैठ के सुन रहा था मैं गया था वहाँ पानी पीने, ग्लास भी टूट गया वहाँ पर, क्या आवाज़. So that you remember. So when we can't stop the world, we can't stop the senses. See, when we sit for meditation, we have to sit, that will be told, and we can close our eyes. But we can't close our ears. Right? So we have to be in such a place where there is no sound pollution. Yeah? And nowadays actually in India, everywhere, early morning they will play music and all. Spiritual music. Early in the morning, 4 बजे. ब्रह्म मुहूर्त पर जोर से. That is the worst thing one can do. So much pollution unnecessarily. So shanti, absolute calm and peaceful place. If the place is having that pavitra sthan, very good. So no disturbance of the ears. Eyes are closed. Ears are not disturbed, mouth is closed, no chewing gum inside. So inside चुपचाप बैठो. स्पर्श, एक जगह पर बैठो, वहीं पर रहो. So no sparsha disturbing. Fragrance also no, don't sit near the kitchen, so no disturbance from the kitchen. Or whatever fragrance should remind us of that Supreme, so agarbatti in your puja room and all, it's fine. So those sense objects which we come in contact, one should not dwell upon them. Keep them outside only. So sparshan kritva bahir bahyan. So once we do that, the outer world is no longer disturbing us. So only disturbance is possible from within. So within also the disturbance comes from our memory, from our past, all the samskars which are there. So if one has done proper sadhana, if the antakarana has become more and more pure, then the internal disturbance also will not be there. So sparshan kritva bahir bahyan chakshushcheva antare bhruvoho. So with our eyes closed, Bhagavan says that this will help you if you can focus your attention of your eyes somewhere between your eyebrows. Chakshuhu cha eva antare bhruvoho. Bhruvo means the eyebrows, और eyebrows के बीच में we can focus our attention, not forcefully but lightly, means above, as though we are looking. Suppose we are sitting, and suppose just imagine Bhagwan is standing in front, as though you are looking at his face, like that. See, when a person is when sometimes people faint and fall and all, उनके आंखें ऊपर हो जाती है. मन जब ज़्यादा चिंतन नहीं करता है तो हमारी आंखें ऊपर हो जाती है. But even if we, because it is a very odd sort of, normally our eyes are down and looking here and there and are constantly active and all. Actually, from the activity of the eyes, we can tell the activity of the mind of a person. Even with our eyes closed, those eyes keep on moving. Little children, if you tell them close your eyes, करते रहते हैं. And even a restless person, उसकी आंखें इधर उधर उधर घूमती रहती है, एक जगह स्थिर नहीं रहती है. स्थिर सामने या नीचे मुश्किल है, तो we can keep the eyes up within, not jabardasti, not with a strain, but as though looking up. So that helps to quieten the mind. This is a secret which Bhagwan reveals here. It helps to quieten the mind if we can keep our eyes up. If it is kept in front, within, then there is chances of it getting distracted. ऐसे थोड़ा सा अच्छा है. Not that with this you can walk around, but during meditation, नहीं तो मुश्किल हो जाएगा. ठीक है. So चक्षुः च एव अंतरे भ्रुवोः. Then प्राणापानो समौ कृत्वा. Then Bhagavan says प्राण और अपान को समान कीजिए. See, this pranas, there are this life energy, life force. Bhagavan's kriya shakti, actually, these pranas, they are expressing in this body in 5 ways, 5 form, 5-fold. Prana, apan, vyan, udan, saman. They are the life energy which is expressing in this body, and which makes the body function, which makes the mind function, which makes the indriyas function. And the same prana shakti is there which makes everything function in this world. Even the planets and all move by the power of this prana only. Even little atom, this movement of the electrons and all by the prana shakti. So prana is the thing, shakti, power, which makes everything function. So this prana, if it is kept under control, then lot of these movements which are there, not only in our body, but in our senses and our mind, because for thoughts also to move, prana shakti is required. If the prana person has become very kamzor, he cannot even think. थोड़ा सोचो नहीं बेटा क्या हो गया, नहीं उपवास है आज, can't think. नहीं, बिकॉज शक्ति नहीं है तो सोचने की भी शक्ति नहीं होती है फिर. सो बट वी डोंट हैव टू फास्ट एंड ऑल. वी कैन, द prana can be controlled by quietening them. See, there are these 5, as I said, prana, apan, vyan, udan, saman. Prana is when we breathe in, that power to breathe in is prana. And the power by which we breathe out or throw out is called apana. Prana, apana, vyana, all the blood and all gets circulated. Samana actually balances both this prana and apan and also helps in digestion. And udana is the vayu by which when a person dies, The Udan Vayu takes away the prana out of this body. So to control this samana and vyana and all is difficult, but if we can control this prana and apana, breathing in and breathing out, if that is controlled properly, rest of the, because they are all connected, so rest of the pranas also will come under control. It is, as I said, the pranas are directly, our breathing, our pranas are directly connected to our mind, means the mind gets energy from this prana. So when the pranas are made calm and peaceful, rhythmic, the mind also starts becoming more and more peaceful, calm. So mind we cannot see, cannot control directly, but by controlling these pranas, we can. So what is that? He says, pran and apan ko saman kijiye. Means the breathing in and breathing out, you make it rhythmic, smooth, free from any jerk or any disturbance. When that is made smooth, the thoughts also, the mind also becomes calm and peaceful. See, छोटे बच्चों को सुलाना है तो rhythmic movement you should give to that child, not a jerky movement. Not play jazz music and then try to make the child sleep. वो इससे चलेगा नहीं काम. Rhythmic. The beating also should be rhythmic. 3 ताल में. Then the child will sleep. लोरी भी गाना है अच्छे मधुर आवाज में. In Gujarat they have हिचका, the झूला. उस पे खाना खाने के बाद बैठ जाते हैं एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास. रिदमिक जब मूवमेंट होता है अच्छी नींद भी लग जाती है उसमें. Some people as soon as they sit in the train they go to sleep. कार में बैठ जाते हैं, सो जाते हैं. वही रिदम होता है उसमें. But if a bad driver is there, you can't sleep. क्योंकि रिदम नहीं है उसमें. So, similarly, when you make the prana and apan rhythmic, then the mind will become calm and peaceful. And you will know, because when it becomes calm, peaceful, thoda bhi, if we want to think of the past or future or some disturbing thought and all, the rhythm will break. So when we make the breathing rhythmic, need not do all sorts of that bhasrika and all, but just rhythmic movement of that breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, enough natural flow. Smoothly. It might take time to breathe properly. नहीं मैं तो बचपन से breathe करता हूँ. But still it will take time. Just like a person might be walking every day, but still our walking might not be very proper. Similarly, our breathing might not be proper. It should be as smooth as possible. The breathing in and out, when it becomes smooth, the mind becomes absolutely calm and peaceful. So prana apan, which prana apan? Nasa bhyantara charino, which is moving in our nostrils. नॉस्ट्रिल में और अंदर भी चले जाता है और बाहर आता है. दैट मोमेंट ऑफ द प्राण एंड अपान शुड बी मेड समान, समौ कृत्वा. समान मीन्स रिदमिक, very very smooth and nice. So that is the outer tayyari. Then Bhagwan talks about the inner. What is that? We'll chant that shloka. Yatendriyamano buddhihi munirmoksha parayanaha vigatecha bhaya krodhaha yassada mukta एव सः यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिः मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधः यः सदा मुक्त एव सः. Then the next words also we'll chant. We'll see the meaning tomorrow. Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam Nyatva mam shantim richati Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam Nyatva mam shantim richati. So this more about that meditation we'll see tomorrow. Now we will meditate as we had just few steps, 1 or 2 steps, what we have heard. So the first step is to keep the outer world outside. Sparshan kritva bahir bahyan. So just imagine that you are leaving your senses like the chappals we leave outside. You are leaving your senses outside and you are entering within. Our own body is Bhagwan's temple only. Outer temple we can visit with this body, but inner temple we have to leave everything outside and enter. So leaving your senses, in the sense, don't allow the outer sense perception to come and disturb the mind. Then as though with your eyes closed, as though look up towards your middle of your eyebrows, where we apply tika, as though look up, without straining the eyes. Then let your breathing become smooth, rhythmic. Just observe your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out should move like a pendulum, smoothly. Keep observing your breathing. And let it be as natural, as smooth, as rhythmic as possible. It might not happen immediately, but as we observe, it will become more and more gentle. ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।